Test 1, 2. Can everybody hear me in the back okay? Can everybody hear me in the back okay? No? Okay. Is that any better? People in the back? You can hear? Okay. Welcome everybody. My name is Reverend Sarah Gutman. Before we begin our ceremony, I would just ask everybody to please be fully present in the moment. So if you could just turn off your cell phones, put them away, and we're going to leave the photographers to be the ones that have the best pictures of Mike and Micah. So just enjoy, be in the moment, and we're going to get started in just a moment. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the bride.
I wish you could swim like keep us together. We can be there forever and ever. Oh, we can be heroes just for one day.
On behalf of Michael Parker, who gives this woman away, please be seated. Welcome. Marriage is a supreme sharing of experiences. It's an adventure of the most intimate of human relationships. And today, Mike and Micah proclaim their love and commitment to the world. And we are gathered here to rejoice with them and for them in this new life that they are about to undertake. And Mike and Micah want to welcome all of you to this celebration of their love for each other. Each of you has given something very special to their lives, and your love and encouragement will forever be appreciated. Thank you for sharing with them one of life's happiest moments, and may you be as an important part of their tomorrows as you are of their todays. And marriage is not just the union of two people in love, it's also the joining of two families, two sets of friends, and two patterns of life. And we're also joined here today by our loved ones who watch over us from above, especially Micah's dad, Michael Parker, Micah's grandma, Nancy Watkins, Micah's granddad, Mel Watkins, and Mike's grandma, Mary Durante. Know that they are with you today and will be with you all the days of your life. And I would like to invite Amanda for a reading.
Having a Coke with you is even more fun than going to San Sebastian, Irún, Honda, Biarritz, or being sick to my stomach on the Transversa de Gracia in Barcelona. Partly because in your orange shirt you look like a better, happier Saint Sebastian. Partly because of my love for you. Partly because of your love for yogurt. Partly because of the fluorescent orange tulips around the birches. Partly because of the secrecy our smiles take on before people in statuary. It is hard to believe when I'm with you that there can be anything as still, as solemn, as unpleasantly definite as statuary, when right in front of it, in the warm New York 4 o'clock light, we are drifting back and forth, between each other, like a tree breathing through its spectacles. And the portrait shows seem to have no faces in it at all, just paint. You suddenly wonder why in the world anyone ever did them. I look at you, and I would rather look at you than all the portraits in the world, except possibly for the Polish rider occasionally, and anyway it's in the Frick, which thanks heavens you haven't gone to yet, so we can go together for the first time. And the fact that you move so beautifully, more or less, takes care of futurism. Just as at home, I never think of the nude descending a staircase, or at a rehearsal, a single drawing of Leonardo or Michelangelo that used to wow me. And what good does all the research of the Impressionists do then, when they never get the right person to stand near the tree when the sun sank? Or for that matter, Marino Marini, when he didn't pick the rider as carefully as the horse. It seems they were all cheated of some marvelous experience, which is not going to go wasted on me, which is why I'm telling you about it.
I'm small, I disappeared quick. Alex? Oh, sorry.
The future belongs to our hearts, even more than it does to our minds. Love, that is the only thing that can occupy and fill eternity. In the infinite, the inexhaustible is requisite. Love participates of the soul itself. It is of the same nature. Like it, it is the divine spark. Like it, it is incorruptible, indivisible, imperishable. It is a point of fire that exists within us, which is immortal and infinite, which nothing can confine, and which nothing can extinguish. We feel it burning even to the very marrow of our bones, and we see it beaming in the very depths of heaven. What a grand thing it is to be loved. What a far grander thing it is to love. The heart becomes heroic by dint of passion. It is no longer composed of anything but what is pure. It no longer rests on anything that is not elevated and great. An unworthy thought can no more germinate in it than a nettle on a glacier. The serene and lofty soul, inaccessible to vulgar passions and emotions, dominating the clouds and the shades of this world, its follies, its lies, its hatreds, its vanities, its miseries, inhabits the blue of heaven, and no longer feels anything but profound, the subterranean shocks of destiny, as the crests of mountains feel the shocks of earthquake. If there did not exist someone who loved, the sun would become extinct.
My pages are numbered.
That's all right. That's just my backup copy. Now, marriage is a commitment to life, the best that two people can find and bring out in each other. It offers an opportunity for sharing and growth that no other relationship can equal. It's a physical and an emotional joining that's a promise for a lifetime. And within the circle of love, marriage encompasses all of life's most important relationships. A married couple is each other's best friend, confidant, lover, teacher, listener, and critic. And there may come times when one partner is heartbroken or ailing, and the love of the other may resemble that of a caring parent or child. Marriage deepens and enriches every facet of life. Happiness is fuller, memories are fresher, commitment is stronger, and even anger is felt more strongly, but then it passes away more quickly. Marriage understands and forgives the mistakes in life unable to avoid. It encourages and nurtures new life and new ways of expressing love that's deeper than life. And when two people pledge their love and care for each other in marriage, they create a spirit unique unto themselves, and that binds them closer than any spoken or written word. Marriage is a promise, a potential made in the hearts of two people who love each other, and it takes a lifetime to fulfill. Okay?
This is a poem by Wendell Berry, the author and local advocate of local agriculture. It's called "The Country of Marriage." I dream of you walking at night along the streams of the country of my birth. Warm blooms and the night songs of birds opening around you as you walk. You're holding in your body the dark seed of my sleep. This comes after silence. Was it something I said that bound me to you? Some mere promise, or worse, the fear of loneliness and death? A man lost in the woods in the dark, I stood still and said nothing. And then there rose in me, like the earth's empowering brew rising in root and branch, the words of a dream of you. I did not know I had dreamed. I was a wanderer who feels the solace of his native land under his feet again, and moving in his blood. I went on, blind and faithful. Where I stepped, my track was there to steady me. It was no abyss that lay before me, but only the level ground. Sometimes our life reminds me of a forest in which there is a graceful clearing, and in that opening a house, an orchard and garden, comfortable shades and flowers, red and yellow in the sun. A pattern made in the light for the light to return to. The forest is mostly dark, its ways to be made anew day after day. The dark richer than the light and more blessed, provided we stay brave enough to keep on going in. How many times have I come to you out of my head with joy, if ever a man was, for to approach you I have given up the light and all directions. I come to you lost, wholly trusting as a man who goes into the forest unarmed. It is as though I descend slowly earthward out of the air. I rest in peace in you when I arrive at last. Our bond is no little economy, based on the exchange of my love and work for yours. So much for so much of an expendable fund. We don't know what its limits are that puts us in the dark. We are more together than we know. How else could we keep on discovering we are more together than we thought? You are known. You are the known way leading always to the unknown, and you are the known place to which the unknown is always leading me back. More blessed in you than I know. I possess nothing worthy to give you. Nothing not belittled by my saying that I possess it. Even an hour of love is a moral predicament, a blessing a man may be hard up to be worthy of. He can only accept it as a plant accepts from all the bounty of the light enough to live, and then accepts the dark, passing unencumbered back to the earth, as I have fallen time and again from the great strength of my desire, helpless, into your arms. I give you what is unbounded, passing from dark to dark, containing darkness, a night of rain, an early morning. I give you the life I have let live for the love of you, a clump of orange blooming weeds beside the road, the young orchard waiting in the snow, our own life that we have planted in the ground. As I have planted mine in you, I give you my love for all beautiful and honest women that you gather to yourself again and again and satisfy. And this poem, no more mine than any man's who has loved a woman.
And Sam?
You cannot possess me, for I belong to myself. But while we both wish it, I give you that which is mine to give. You cannot command me, for I am a free person. But I shall serve you in those ways you require. And the honeycomb will taste sweeter coming from my hand. I pledge to you that yours will be the name I cry aloud in the night, and the eyes to which I smile in the morning. I pledge to you the first bite of my meat, and the first drink from my cup. I pledge to you my living and my dying, each equally in your care. I shall be your shield for your back, and you for mine. I shall not slander you, nor you me. I shall honor you above all others, and when we quarrel, We shall do so in private and tell no strangers of our grievances. This is my wedding vow to you. This is the marriage of equals.
Back in January of 2015, Micah was looking through some online dating profiles. And when she came across a picture of a nice-looking guy with some cows in the background. And for those of you who know Micah, you know that she is a salt of the earth kind of woman. So it wasn't surprising that she was drawn to a man who surrounded himself in nature. They began messaging back and forth, and soon they decided to meet up in person. And Micah was looking really forward to her big date with Mike. And she was so upset when she suddenly came down with this bad cold. And she was debating whether or not to cancel, but luckily she ended up feeling well enough to go. And when she arrived at the coffee shop, Mike greeted her with a bowl of homemade bone soup to help her feel better. Well, Micah was in shock. This was better than any flowers or chocolates that anyone could have brought her. She could not get over of this very thoughtful gesture by this relative stranger. And for the rest of the evening, the two of them could not stop talking. Granted, it might partially be because Mike had never had coffee before, and he found himself especially jittery. But it was more likely that Mike and Micah's hearts had recognized each other. And as they spent more time together, Mike and Micah's bond continued to strengthen. Micah could not get over the kindness that Mike displayed towards her and all that he knew. And without her asking, he would anticipate all of her needs and her wants, from making sure that she was never without ice cream, to lifting those heavy objects and helping out with her grandma. And Mike is glad that he could do all those things, because Micah has made him happier than he's ever been. She pays attention to those little details and remembers everything. And in fact, he credits her with being more attuned to his thoughts than he is. But perhaps the strongest connection that Mike and Micah share is that they both possess the heart of a farmer. Now, you might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, there are certain traits that are naturally embedded in a good farmer. Of course, the first thing that comes to the mind is somebody who nurtures plants and animals and cares for the earth. And now Mike and Micah both enjoy tending their garden and their herb garden, but a farmer's soul goes much deeper than that. It's someone who displays patience, practices hard work, and is not afraid to take risks to better one's life. And to be a successful farmer, you must be able to weather the unexpected. And if you do all these things, you will reap a bountiful harvest. And if you look at Mike and Micah's relationship, you can see that vision, that hard work manifesting in the home that they've created. They find beauty in the natural world around them and in unexpected places, whether it's taking a walk in the woods or exploring places like Arizona and Tennessee. They take risks, like Micah going out in the winter and Mike having coffee. And over the years, they've taken each other for better and for worse, but never for granted. And an abundance of love has blossomed from the seeds of kindness and patience and laughter that Mike and Micah have sown. And Mike knew that for as long as Micah was by his side, life would always be new and exciting. So while at a concert, Mike asked Micah to be his wife, and she said yes. And afterwards, Mike and Micah and a group of friends went back to their house, and they celebrated by opening a bottle of champagne that they had reserved in the refrigerator for Easter morning. And Mike and Micah, may your life together be a harvest of health and happiness and wonderful memories yet to be made. May you always know how lucky you are to through falling in love with your best friend. And now I would like to invite Bryant for a reading.
We, unaccustomed to courage, exiles from delight, live coiled in shells of loneliness until love leaves its high holy temple and comes into our sight to liberate us into life. Love arrives, and in its train come ecstasies, old memories of pleasure, ancient histories of pain. Yet, if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our souls. We are weaned from our timidity in the flush of love's light. We dare be brave, and suddenly we see that love costs all we are and will ever be. Yet, it is only love which sets us free.
And now, Mike and Micah will share their vows. And as a sign of their love for each other, they've taken the time to write them themselves.
I, Mike, choose you, Micah, to be my wife. I vow to go with you on all the adventures we dream of, and to work together on all the little projects that make our lives fulfilling. I vow to listen to your thoughts, your opinions, to your good advice, which has already helped me to become a better man. I promise to always lock the car, to check for spiders, carry heavy things, and to go fetch whatever you need. I want to always protect you and make you feel safe. I promise to appreciate and take care of the homes that you make around us, and to collect the sentimental things that make these places feel special. I will keep you warm if you promise to keep me cool, and I will love you every day more and more if you choose me to be your husband.
Let's see how this goes. Okay, I take you as you are, loving you as you are now. Okay, I take you as you are, loving you as you are now, and who you've yet to become, and who you are yet to become. I choose you today and every day forward. I bind my life with yours. And my heart with yours. I wrote in pencil. You think I can do anything, and I'm driven by my accountability to you. I vow to always reach your high expectations of me. You put me in a good mood, and you feed me when I forget to eat. That's why I love you. I'm in awe of your kindness, your drive, your goodness. I promise to always taste whatever you cooked, with lard or not. And to always answer the home phone, because it's the only phone you can reach me on. Because you know I'm screaming myself. I guess I forgot it. To drive you to work when it rains, and to pick you up when it's too hot out. You always walks to work, no matter the weather. I promise to never complain about the 2-hour drive to pick up milk once a week, because you don't complain that I put juices in all your food. And I promise to love you always, no matter what, because I do. Yeah. That's it.
Mike and Micah are now going to partake in the ancient ritual of hand fasting. Mike and Micah, I bid you now to look into each other's eyes. And will you honor and respect each other and see to never break that honor? Will you share each other's pain and seek to erase it? Will you share your burdens so your spirits may grow in union? Will you share each other's laughter and look for the brightness in life? And so this binding is made between the two of you, which although these cords are material, your love is everlasting. But always remember the ties that bind you together as husband and wife. And Shakespeare said, now, join your hands, and with your hands, your heart. And Mike and Micah, now look at each other's hands and see the gift that they are to you. These are the hands of your best friend, young and strong and full of love, that are holding you on your wedding day, as you promise to love each other today, tomorrow, and forever. These are the hands that will work alongside of you, as together you build your future. These are the hands that will passionately love you and cherish you through the years, and with the slightest touch will comfort you like no other. These are the hands that will hold you when fear or grief fill your mind. These are the hands that will countless times wipe away tears from your eyes, both tears of sorrow and tears of joy. These are the hands that will one day tenderly hold your children. These are the hands that will help you hold your family as one. These are the hands that will give you strength when you need it. And lastly, these are the hands, when wrinkled with age, will still be reaching for yours, still giving you that unspoken tenderness with just a touch. Now the wedding ring is a symbol of an unbroken circle of love. For love freely given has no beginning and no end. And once these rings are given and received, they seal that promise that you've made to be husband and wife. And may these rings always be a loving reminder of the vows that you've made here today. Fate links thee to me forever and a day. Fate links thee to me forever and a day. And Nick and Lizzie will now do a reading.
You and I have so much love that it burns like a fire, in which we bake a lump of clay, mold it into a figure of you and a figure of me. Then we take both of them and we break them into pieces, and mix the pieces with water, and mold again a figure of you and a figure of me. I am your clay, you are my clay.
I add my breath to your breath, that our days may be long on the earth, that the days of our people may be long, that we shall be as one person, that we may finish our road together.
Mike and Micah, now you will feel no rain, for each of you are shelter to each other. There is a bee over here. Now you will feel no cold, for each of you are warmth to each other. Now you will feel no loneliness, for each of you will be companions to each other. Now you are two bodies, but there is only one life before you. Treat yourselves and each other with respect, and remind yourselves often of what brought you together. Give the highest priority of the tenderness, gentleness, and kindness that your connection deserves. And when frustration and difficulty and fear assail your relationship, as they will all relationships at one time or another, remember to focus on what is right between you and not what is wrong. And in this way, you can ride out the storm when the clouds hide the face of the sun. And remember, when you lose sight of the sun for just a moment, it's still there. And each of you, if you take responsibility for the quality of your life together, it will be marked with abundance of joy and delight. And may beauty surround you both on this journey ahead and through all of your years together. And with this proclamation and declaration of love, it is my pleasure, through in accordance with the laws of New York, and by the virtue of authority vested in me by the state of New York, to now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Parker.
Was in her garden, riding by, came up to the gate and called her, said, pretty fair maid, would you be my